Today, we are going to do something pretty cool. We're going to try to crack the code of our own programming using some amazing insights from the book Don't Challenge Human Nature. We'll dive into some of the most famous psychology experiments ever done to really get a handle on the hidden rules that make us, well, us. Let's jump in.
So, what's the big question here? Are we born as total blank slates, where our experiences write the whole story? Or is there something deeper, a kind of hidden code, an operating system for being human that we all share from day one? Let's find out. So, we're going to start at the very beginning with our most basic programming. Think of it as the very first lines of code that get written the moment we come into the world. And honestly, what that code is for might not be what you think. For the longest time, the idea was pretty simple, right? We love our mothers because they feed us. It's a survival thing. But a series of really groundbreaking and frankly pretty heartbreaking experiments revealed that our deepest, most primal need is for something else entirely. A psychologist named Harry Harlow set up this incredible experiment with baby monkeys. He presented them with a really stark choice. He created two surrogate mothers. One was just a cold wireframe, but it had a bottle of milk. The other one, it was soft, covered in cloth, warm and comforting, but it had no food. So if you were that baby monkey, where would you spend your time? Well, the results were just wow. They weren't even close. The baby monkeys clung to that soft cloth mother for almost the entire day. They'd only zip over to the wire mother for a quick drink of milk and then rush right back to the comfort of the cloth. The need for contact, for that feeling of safety and comfort, was way, way stronger than the need for food. It turns out love isn't just nice to have, it is survival. And this incredible discovery became one of the cornerstones of what we now call attachment theory. The big idea here is that this very first crucial bond we form creates a kind of mental blueprint for every relationship we'll have later in life. It basically dictates how we learn to trust, how we love, and how we connect with people for the rest of our lives. And you can actually see how these early patterns play out. Researchers found three main styles. You've got secure kids, who were upset when mom left but easily soothed when she came back. They tend to grow into trusting adults. Then there are avoidant kids, who kind of acted like they didn't care either way. As adults, they often shy away from getting too close. And finally, anxious kids, who are really hard to comfort. They often grow up craving closeness but also being terrified of rejection. See? It's not just about baby stuff. This is the emotional programming we carry our whole lives. All right, so our programming isn't just emotional. It turns out we also have this internal biological clock. And this clock determines when we're actually ready to learn new things. And as you're about to see, trying to fight that clock is, well, pretty much pointless. Okay, check this out. To prove this point, a psychologist named Arnold Gazelle did this brilliant experiment with a pair of identical twins. He started trying to teach twin T how to climb a ladder when she was 48 weeks old. It was a real struggle, and he kept at it for 6 whole weeks. Then, he just waited. He started training twin C a month later at 52 weeks old and only did it for 2 weeks. So who do you think was the better climber in the end? And the result was kind of mind-blowing. Despite all that extra practice, all that effort, twin T had zero advantage. Both twins figured out how to climb the ladder at the exact same age, 54 weeks. The lesson here is huge. All that early training was basically useless. Our bodies and brains learn when they are biologically ready to learn, not when we try to force it. It's about maturation, not just endless practice. Okay, so we're wired for connection, and we're following a built-in biological clock. But what about the outside world? What about the people around us? Well, it turns out our inner code is super sensitive to what's going on around us, especially to what other people are doing. You might have heard of this one, the famous Bobo doll experiment. Basically, researchers had kids watch a video of an adult just going to town on this inflatable doll, punching it, kicking it, yelling at it. So later, they put those same kids in a room with the same doll. And what do you think they did? Yep, they copied the adult's behavior, almost move for move. They learned to be aggressive just by watching. We are literally wired to imitate. But look, imitation is one thing. What about obedience? This next one is one of the most chilling experiments in history. A guy named Stanley Milgram wanted to see how far regular people would go when someone in a lab coat, an authority figure, told them to give electric shocks to another person. Now, the person getting shocked was just an actor, but the participants didn't know that. All they heard were screams of pain. So let me ask you, how many of them do you think went all the way to the final, most powerful shock? 65%.
Let that sink in for a second. Almost 2/3 of perfectly ordinary people just like you and me, were willing to deliver what they thought were potentially lethal electric shocks to a total stranger. Why? Simply because a guy in a lab coat told them to. This uncovers a really unsettling part of our human code, our deep and sometimes very dangerous tendency to obey authority.
So our behavior can be totally shaped by other people. But what about our inner world, our memories? I mean, surely those are real, they're ours, they're untouchable, right? Well, let's put that to the test. So in this classic experiment, a psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus showed a group of people a video of a car crash. Simple enough. Afterwards, she asked them a question about how fast the cars were going, but she sneakily changed one single critical word in that question.
So for half the people, she asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other. For the other half, she used the much more neutral word hit. It seems like such a tiny, insignificant difference, but it had a massive effect on what people remembered. Just look at this. The group that heard the word smashed estimated the speed was almost 10 kilometers per hour faster than the group that just heard hit. That one little word completely changed their memory of an event they had just watched with their own eyes. But wait, because here's where it gets really wild. A week later, she called them back and asked if they remembered seeing any broken glass in the video. Now, there wasn't any broken glass in the film at all. And yet, the people in that smashed group were more than twice as likely to say, "Yep, I saw broken glass." So the word didn't just alter their memory, it literally created a brand new, totally false one. Our memories aren't like video recordings, they're more like stories we tell ourselves. And those stories can be rewritten.
So after all of that, where does this leave us? What have we actually learned about this hidden inner code that we're all running on?
Let's boil it all down. What are the basic rules of our code? Well, we know we are profoundly social creatures, hardwired for connection from birth. We know our development follows a biological clock that you just can't rush. We learn so much by watching others, and we have this powerful built-in instinct to obey authority. And maybe the most shocking of all, our memories are fragile, they're flexible, and they can absolutely be rewritten.
So here's the real takeaway. Knowing all this stuff, it's not a life sentence. It's not supposed to make you feel trapped. It's the opposite. It's like getting the instruction manual to being human, understanding our nature, our deep need for connection, our deference to authority, the incredible fragility of our own minds. It doesn't trap us. It gives us the tools to be more aware, more compassionate, and more intentional. It sets us free. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with that freedom?